Hey folks, John Havlicek here today with another edition of Common Grounds. You see some beautiful sunlight coming in. It's a little bit later in the day, so no coffee at this point for me. I'm going to do a two-part series on the SAVE Act, which is supposedly about making elections more secure. The lesser known but more accurate title is the How Can We Disenfranchise Voters in the 99% Act. And I think after listening to this, you're going to agree with me that that's a better title. All right, so let's dive into part one here. So I've put some links in the post here. You really need to go listen to the way Republican legislators are talking about this, because they are very, very smooth, as most politicians are very smooth. And what they're doing is a bait and switch. They bait you with this thing, and then before you know it, they have switched you to this thing, which is not the same. Okay? So in this case, they start out talking about registered voters, and then they segue into ballots or votes. And these are not the same thing, not remotely. I'll give you a quick example. Here in Wisconsin, the voter registration list or whatever has active voters, like me, people who are eligible to vote, and inactive voters, people who are not eligible to vote. So if you were to only look at the registered voter list, that would in no way, shape, or form compare to actual votes or ballots. Okay? And they're doing this all the time. So Brian Stile, I think I've been saying his last name wrong. I think Stile. He was sitting in front of a committee, and the person interviewing him said, well, we know that there were 10 million undocumented adults in the U.S. that registered to vote in blah, blah, blah. And then she very quickly went, and how do we stop them from voting? We cannot have 10 million illegal votes. Oh, back the cart up here, Aunt Sally. Those are not the same thing. Okay? Ron Johnson. He was in the Racine County I don't think that's probably not a liberal, stronghold there over in Racine, but I don't know that, I guess. He was asked about this, and he starts with the SAVE Act, and he says, well, it's just, constitutionally, you can only vote in federal elections if you're a U.S. citizen, and that's what this does. Do you see how he's making it sound like before this you could vote? No. That's already the case. But then he switches to, you just have to prove you're a citizen. Once you're registered, you can use your voter ID. It's very popular nationally, 80% of the population, blah, blah. Hold it. You just switched again. You've done it twice in a matter of like a minute. Okay? So, folks, I looked it up. I have a real ID, driver's license here in the state of Wisconsin. That does not prove I'm a citizen. That would not be sufficient to vote. Even though I've been registered in Wisconsin since I was 18, I guess. I've never voted in any other state. I've always lived in Wisconsin. All of a sudden, that's not good enough. I would have to bring a passport or a birth certificate as well. I happen to have those, but guess what? 50% of the U.S. population doesn't have a passport. Okay? So you've got to beware of the bait and switch, because they're doing it all the time, and they know better. Okay? Brian Stile, I think he and I would disagree. Ron Johnson, I know he and I disagree on just about everything, but I don't think these guys are stupid. They know what they're doing, and they figure they can just do this bait and switch on you, on me, and on the general public. Don't let them do it. All right? Have a good one, folks.